Hey guys, how's it going? Elliot here again. In today's video, we are going to be doing something pretty special with a Sony Walkman. This is a WM-3. This is very similar to the Walkman that I previously repaired, except this time we're going to see if we can fix this £200 Walkman with a set of £1.99 elastic bands. First thing though, I have a little announcement to make. I'm not going to be doing stupid amounts of videos on cassette players and mini disc players. It's just an interest that I am kind of exploring at the moment. So here's a bit of a peek of what we're going to be looking at soon. This is a Game Gear. I'm sure you guys are familiar. I have found a sort of knockoff of the Game Gear, although I think it's more kind of trying to copy the Game Boy, although it looks very, very similar to the Game Gear. And then I found a knockoff of that knockoff. So this is another one which is meant to be like this, except it's called the Super Game. Everything other than that is pretty much exactly the same, but it's pretty interesting. And then I found another one which is called the Gametronic. And now for the video that you've been waiting for, here's some elastic bands. Now, why buy elastic bands when you can buy replacement belts online? I bought a couple here for my last video and they were £7 or £8 or something, and a couple pounds shipped to Jersey where I live. And this is specifically for the Sony TPS-L2, the WM-3, which is the one that I have right here. I bought these from Hong Kong. Came in a big multi-pack. There was lots of different packs of them, and it did say that it was actually a multi-pack of different sizes. And when they came down, I thought, okay, these ones look alright. I opened these ones. These ones look okay. Let's have a look at the other ones. And I don't know what these are meant to be for, right? But these are absolutely ginormous. They feel like loom bands. I don't know if you guys remember that craze, but yeah, they're also round as well. They're not square. And I think the issue with that would be that it potentially would actually slip on the wheels when you're trying to spin the belt. And this one, as you can see, is square. I don't know if you guys can see that there, but this one's square. So okay, £2, not a big waste. I might be able to use these because at least these are square. I know that the TPS-L2 belts are slightly bigger. Here are the TPS-L2 belts that I took out. These are square, and if I just take one of these new ones that we've just bought for £2 and put it next to it, kind of it doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit smaller, so it should be fine because obviously this is stretched over time. It's a little bit thicker, but it's not a huge deal. In terms of this one, I could probably just stretch it a little bit and use it, and it'd absolutely be fine. That is not the case. So let's just take a little look at the belts. As you can see, the way that they've been cut, they're actually thinner at some parts than they are on the other. Here's a little bit of a show here of that. You can see on the left-hand side, the belt is far thicker than on the right-hand side. Another problem as well, and some of them are worse than the others, the join here where the two pieces of this piece of rubber here has been connected is really bumpy. And as I was explaining in the last video, this has to have equal tension all the way round so that when it's spinning, the little head that turns the tape doesn't have jolts in it. If it has jolts in it, then you get really strange sounds. Here's another one as well, and you can see the problem on this is even worse. It's really quite small, so it's very hard to notice the difference. But when you know what you're looking for and you have this in person, you listen to it on headphones, it's awful. If I compare that to the actual official one that it came with, this is absolutely seamless the whole way round. Everything is the exact same size, and there's no deficiencies in the actual belt itself, other than the fact that it's not perfectly circular anymore, and it's kind of just degrading over time. So let's have a look at these £2 elastic bands then and see if they're actually going to be any good. Another point as well that I should mention is these are far more accessible than these belts. You have to wait about 2 or 3 weeks for them to come from Hong Kong. This one I didn't get from the UK either. When I did buy the ones that worked absolutely perfectly, the ones that were £7 or £8, they took about a week to come as well and came from Slovakia or some faraway country. This, I just walked into my co-op, my local supermarket if you will. It comes in 3 different sizes as well, which is rather convenient. The TPS-L2 has 2 different size belts. There's a slightly smaller one, which I could probably get away with using this one, or potentially even this one as well. Stretching it out would allow it to be slightly thinner, just like this, and it would actually stretch over time and probably get used to that position and be okay. You can also stretch them and then just turn down the potentiometer, which adjusts the speed. This one is the slightly larger of the two and would probably be okay just to use this red one here, and it would stretch out and be okay at the same size of that. Before we do this, let's listen to what it sounds like beforehand with those belts which aren't perfectly round and have those little bumps around the outside of it. Okay, and now is the time for the moment of truth. As you can see, I haven't desoldered anything, so it is a little bit difficult and frustrating to try and get these on, the belts on. You can get an idea of just how non-circular this belt is just by looking at that joint right there. That's where it's actually joined together, or at least I think that's where it's joined together. And yeah, when that's going along, you can really hear that, and it is quite prominent when you're listening back to the audio. I've picked out two of the roundest elastic bands that I can find, and I'm going to go ahead and just put them in here and see if it makes any difference. Putting the elastic bands inside was very difficult. I put one end in and the other just pinged off, but once I finally did get them in and made sure that they weren't twisted, I put some batteries in and tested to see if it worked. When I pressed play, absolutely nothing happened, and I really wasn't too sure why. It turns out that the elastic bands are far too tight for the player to actually spin. The motor just can't hack it at all. So what I did was took them out and simply just stretched them, and that worked absolutely perfectly. I'm not sure how long that's going to work for before they kind of return to their shape, but for now at least, they definitely spin. We'll talk about the sound quality in just a second, but before we do that, we definitely need to fix the speed issue. In order to do that, you just need to remove the spine piece and take off the little cap at the top, and underneath there's a little screw which is a potentiometer to adjust the speed. Okay, so I guess it kind of works. For £2, you really can't go wrong. I guess it means that you can test out if a Walkman actually works when you buy it. It saves you having to wait a couple of weeks once you bought something to test it. You can just go down to your shop and buy one of these. Do I think it's a good permanent solution? No, I guess it depends on the quality of elastic bands that you get. For some reason, mine's giving it a kind of like a fluttery effect. I don't know if you guys heard that there on the recording playback, but I think that is probably just to do with the design of the elastic bands being, not perfectly made for this because they're not perfectly straight. Another thing I had to do was turning down that potentiometer. That means that the elastic bands, because of their tension, they're actually tighter than the original ones that came on this thing, which means that the motor is just going the same speed, but because of the tension, everything's spinning faster, so you're having to turn that down. I'm not sure longevity-wise if that's actually going to damage your unit. I'm not an expert on this, but it does prove that you can, for £2, repair a $250, $300 Walkman. So I guess this, as an educational thing, has been relatively cool to test out, put things to test and Definitely sounds far, far better than the ones I ordered from Hong Kong for £2. There's none of that wow noise as it's playing. I could probably live with flutter more than I can live with wow. If I'm even getting these terms right, I have absolutely no idea. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed somewhat. As I said, I'm going to get back into repairing and having a look at faulty consoles and retro knockoff consoles, which is kind of what I'm renowned for doing. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you really enjoy my content, consider becoming a Patreon for the channel and helping me pay for £2 elastic bands for the videos. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.